We have such great voices in this group, and I feel that you each have more to say, and I want to make sure that everybody gets their great advice across. So we're going to do that in the speed round. The thing about the speed round is I'm asking you to give me your number one best piece of advice to someone who is in the job search right now, and do that in 60 seconds or less. Can we do this? We got a lot of you on this panel. I want to hear from everybody. So 60 seconds, best piece of advice for those watching our show. And I am going to start with Bill.
So I would say make sure you're learning through the process and identifying what's working and what's not working for you, assuming that you have stuff that is working. So I know like a lot of people, like they're out there, they're applying to job. They're hitting easy apply on the LinkedIn. And I've heard people like say, you're just wasting your time there. If you've done that 200 times or 300 times and you got no responses, it's probably safe to say that that might not be a good use of your time. So, just learn what is working. I like getting feedback from like the AI approach in LinkedIn that says like how am I a fit for this job? And that'll give you some stuff there where you'll kind of like highlight things that you could focus on more to present yourself better. So I've made use of that in my process. So, yep.
Awesome. Dinar?
Sure. So I think my biggest piece of advice would be to leverage relationships, right? I think everything in business comes down to relationships. Networking is just so important. You never know who someone you're talking to might know, but be targeted about it as well, right? So there's folks in your past that you've worked with that you've gotten great advice from. Just connect with them, right? Maybe you have something to offer them at the same time, and just talk about how things are going. You never know, again, who they might know, but also be proactive. Identify some companies that you'd be interested in working for, right? Rather than just chasing roles, right? Say, hey, I want to work at company XYZ. Who do I know that works there? Or who am I connected to that has a connection there? And start building relationships so that, maybe when they have a role open up, you already have the relationship, right? And you're going to be ahead of the curve, getting consideration for that role. So at the end of the day, I think it's
Awesome.
just that's my
That's
number one.
That's a good one. Love it. I love it. Chrissy, what you got?
Yes. So a lot of what we heard a lot of today was networking, and we also heard that maybe not everybody's comfortable with networking. One of the things that helped me a lot and helped me overcome it, and it works like such a charm and in ways that you don't expect, is to go to conferences, and you get to pick which conferences you go to. So pick the conferences that touch upon the things that you loved about your job, and go to those. And you're not it's so you may not like you might find a job prospect there, you might meet somebody that might help you find an opportunity. Those things might happen, but you're also going to be learning the most recent things about that industry. You're going to be, as Dean said, you're going to be finding maybe some other companies that you might want to work for, or what's happening, so that when you do go on that next interview, you're going to have the most recent things to talk about, and more kind of more relevant things to just discuss in your interview. So those are great ways to network, especially when you're not as comfortable with it. Talking about things that you like and things that you have experience in are a lot easier than just kind of cold going up to a table of people you don't know at a hotel lobby with your iced tea in hand. So those are great things to do. And I wouldn't eat at those hotel lobbies. I would, maybe carry a bottle of water or something, but treat yourself after the networking event. Give yourself some positive reinforcement. Go out to eat afterwards, and after you're done with the event, and do something that just makes you feel good about it. And because that people pick up on that. People, will, as you go to those events, they'll pick up on your enthusiasm, and you'll get to meet more people. So that's my advice.
Love that. Love that. Andy, what you got?
I'll be quick. So I have some advice for the hiring manager side, and that is, remember, you're not just talking to a candidate, you're talking to a potential future customer, a potential future CEO that will want to buy your product, and your brand is tied up in how you treat that candidate. So I would just kind of leave that there. That's one. Two, for the candidate side, just really building on what everybody was talking about here. I do think putting together a point of view as well on the company you're talking to, on where AI could potentially fit into the role, whatever that is, having a point of view. So you're not being passive in that interview, in that conversation. You're actually bringing to the table original thinking. I think that I had a mentor at IBM tell me it makes you look 20 IQ points smarter, and I could use every IQ point I can get. So I always followed it.
Great. Police?
Two very quick thoughts. One of them is come prepared. Okay. Do your homework. You've heard this a couple of times, but it's more than that. It's not only doing your research, it's staying on top of the news, looking what's going on in the industry, understanding really what is happening. You know, AI, great buzzword, but what does it really mean? What does security really mean? What do those things mean? What is a company getting acquired? Are they being acquired? What is going on in their ecosystem? These are important things that are part of the conversation. And just be humble, okay? Just, when you come, there should be no sense of arrogance. There should just be that, you have to come as yourself. You have to show you love what you do, and you're gonna, show that love to a potential employer, but be humble. People look for that. If there's a sense of arrogance, it comes across, and the interview doesn't last very long.
Thank you for that. Travis?
Two things really quickly. First is leverage to Dean's point and reconnect with some of your old colleagues, some of your old managers that you've worked for and worked with in the past. They may not get you the job, but they will have a particular impact, and whether it's through direction or guidance or feedback in terms of you leveraging your next opportunity and getting your next opportunity, and even potentially being, a potential reference for you. So just reach back and connect back with, not your last job, but 2, 3, 4 jobs ago, especially if you had a really good relationship, and start with that on LinkedIn. The second is the thing that you're really passionate about, the causes that you're really passionate about. Have a connectivity of what you do really well, what you want to do in your next career path. If there's a way to marry that with your cause and the thing that you do well, if you're IT, figure out how to leverage your IT background. If you're marketing background, try to figure out how to leverage and volunteer that marketing background to your cause, because that is another way where you can expand your networking ability, but also demonstrate your value for a future employer.
Great. Thank you. And Kevin?
I'm sitting here and I'm listening, and we're all talking, and every distinguished panelist has a common thread. And Dean kind of said it best: networking, and more networking, right? And that is so critical, and we're all talking about it, and we're talking about other approaches as well, but you have to network all the time. You can't just network when you're looking for a job. You have to think about networking as part of your job when you're gainfully employed, right? It's when you make those priceless relationships that will help you when you find yourself potentially in transition. It makes all the difference in the world. Have specific goals every single day. You could network in person, you could network virtually, but commit to finding 2, 3 new contacts per day. Ask them for other meetings, right? And then I think Andy might have touched upon this too. Micro target where you want to work, right? You can apply to 80 million jobs, but the truth is you need to identify a company that you're interested in, a company that may have some jobs that actually align with your background, and then you attack it by not just responding to the job, but getting to know people that may be in there through other contacts you don't even know you have yet. Be fearless. It's okay to reach out to the head of an organization. It's okay to email. It's okay to pick up the phone and call. It doesn't mean you're an aggravator. It means you're being persistent, and it means you're being smart and approaching it. And the last thing is just bring some organization to the job search. I'm a big believer in having a spreadsheet in front of you. What's the name of the company, the names of the titles of the jobs, when did you apply, who do I know in that organization, who did I get introduced to in that organization, What was the result, right? And how do I further penetrate that organization? That's what a simple spreadsheet can bring, is some purpose and structure to your search.
So well said. Thank you, Kevin. And Dean, can you kind of round us out? You get the final say here.
Well, thank you. Real quick, connect with more people on LinkedIn. Don't be afraid, like Kevin was saying, don't be afraid to connect with the most senior people in the organization that you're targeting. They don't bite. They're going to connect with you. If you invite Felice Katz to connect with you, she's going to connect with you, right? So just don't be afraid to do that. Also, when you are going on an interview, why should I work for you? Why should I work for you? What can you sell me about working for your company? That's not the approach. What value can you bring to that organization and stand behind that and prove the value that you could bring and your interest there? And the other thing I wrote down real quick, a friend of mine was a senior project manager who was on a 6-month project for 10 years down at JP Morgan Chase, and he was a consultant and they cut him out. So he kept emailing me this information that he wanted to send to my connections. So I kept doing it. But after the 5th and 6th time, I said, "What are you doing?" And he said he's looking to put this podcast together. And he was looking for the opinions of these senior level people that, would this be of interest to you? I said, and the back end of that is, you're looking for a position, so you can bring that into the equation, but not leading with that. Brilliant approach. Put a video together, put a podcast together, do something different, do something out of the box that's going to get you seen. I'm done.
Wow, that's great. Well, I have to say this was a lot of great information, jam-packed with good advice. I know that this is going to be helpful to those that listen. I must say thank you to the panelists. You've all been awesome, and most especially to Dean for putting this all together. So thank you all, and have a lovely day.